What's up, guys? Milos here. So, the San Antonio Spurs beat the Oklahoma City Thunder in Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. And just looking at this game, I believe this is one of the best games I've ever seen, just in my time of watching the NBA. It was competitive on both sides. Both teams were playing defense. Both teams particularly weren't shooting the ball well, but were finding ways to score points. The reason why the San Antonio Spurs won this game, I think a big reason, obviously, is what Victor Wembanyama did. I have to keep reiterating that I don't think I've ever seen a player like this. I don't think we'll ever see a player like this. And I think if Victor Wembanyama, barring any injuries, any major injuries, if he keeps going on this track, he's on the track of getting to GOAT level status. And I mean, in competition with LeBron James and Michael Jordan, of course. The way he's playing the basketball game, the way he's able to grow right now, I think he's growing at an exponential rate. One I've particularly never seen out of a superstar before. I see him just learning where teams are going to send the double to try and get the ball out of his hands, what he can do once he gets in the paint, being able to score efficiently, being able to catch lobs more efficiently, being able to be more of a paint present. He only shot 1 3 this game. And I think the biggest knock on Wemby is that he's always shooting threes. And while he's a very good shooter, I think sometimes that has hindered his game a little bit. But this game, he shot 1 3 or 2 threes, I should say. But the 1 3 he made was when it counted, hitting almost an identical shot to when Steph Curry in 2016 hit a half-court three-point buzzer beater to ultimately the second overtime. I think when he pulled up, I immediately was like, no, that's the bad shot. That's a bad shot. And then somehow he made it. And once you make shots like that, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it was a bad shot selection or a good shot selection. As long as it goes in the hoop, that's what we're going to praise you for. And Victor Wembanyama made that shot. And just down the stretch of this game, he was just clutch. He was able to face up, hit a turnaround jumper that was like one-legged in the paint. When I saw that, I was just like, oh, okay, he understands the moment. You can see clearly that he's not as young as his actual age. In terms of mindset, he has very much a superstar mindset, a mentality that's Kobe-like, Tim Duncan-like. He understands the game very early. At this point, I don't even think he has that much extra motivation from seeing Shea win the MVP because I think he already wants to be great on his own. I think he wants to be an MVP. He said before that he believes he's the MVP. He believes his team can win it all. And he just wants to be great. And he's continuing to learn, as he said in the interview. But I think at the same time, seeing Shea a little bit raise the MVP trophy did kind of irk him a little bit. And I believe that's why he ultimately went for this explosion of 40 and 20. And even with this game, I still think he can be better, which is crazy to say. The Spurs guards just don't necessarily do the greatest job of getting him the ball. And I think this game, De'Aaron Fox was missed. I think if De'Aaron Fox was in this game, I think the Spurs could have potentially won by more because you have less turnovers. Stephon Castle, while he had a great game, 17 points and 11 assists, he also had 11 turnovers, which was a big detriment to this team. When you have De'Aaron Fox, who's a seasoned all-star guard, an all-NBA guard, I think he can kind of calm down the troops, calm down the young minds, and just be able to take control in the sense of controlling the pace and also being able to not turn over the ball as much as Stephon Castle did, because Stephon Castle handled most of the responsibilities that De'Aaron Fox usually does. And while I think he can do it, and he showed still he could do it, I think De'Aaron Fox can right now still do it a little bit better, and I think he's still needed for this team ultimately in order to win a championship. So once he comes back in the mix, I think this team will be even more dangerous. And the Spurs just look great. I mean, they have guards that they can send at Shea. They constantly sent 2 at Shea. They constantly sent a bunch of bodies at Shea. If Shea got past one of the defenders, somebody else would be coming across the nail to stop Shea from doing whatever he wanted to do. They gave him no space to work with. And usually Shea has a lot of space to work with, especially with the last series when he played the Lakers. The Lakers showed the formula of how to stop Shea. They just didn't necessarily have the bodies that the San Antonio Spurs have. They have a bunch of wings that and physical guards that can get up into Shea and just stop him from doing what he wants to do and doing what he's been doing all season, which is dropping 30 points and being a mid-range killer. And while I still think he can do that in this series, Shea is going to have to find a way to be more aggressive and more productive. Shea's going to need to find the shots, and I still think he did shoot a lot. He shot 7 for 23. A lot of it is because of him. A lot of him missing is because of Victor Wembanyama, obviously, and the constant sending of bodies towards him. He's ultimately going to have to be the MVP and kind of figure that out in a way. And I know that's kind of a tough task, especially with how good the San Antonio Spurs are defensively. But I think Shea is an all-time great player, and I think ultimately he'll figure out a way to win a game and also get himself going. I don't think this series is going to be a sweep. I want to overreact a little because I haven't seen a player like Wemby before. But at the same time, I know how disciplined and consistent the Oklahoma City Thunder are, and I think this game will definitely go 6 or 7 games. Shout out to the Spurs. On the Oklahoma City Thunder side, like I said, Shea just needs to play better. Alex Caruso gave you his best game probably in the playoffs ever, 30 points, and shot at 8 threes, 8 for 14, and was 11 for 19 from the field. So he was just efficient and also just a complete disruptor on defense. Stop Castle from getting a game-winning alley-oop with a steal. He provided some good defensive stops on Wemby occasionally, a couple times. Wemby's growth, again, he needs a bigger body on him because he knows if he has a bigger body on him, he'll take him out on the perimeter, shake and bake, get past him because he has a handle that's obviously greater than most. When he's in the paint, he's learning that, hey, they're like a foot shorter than me. So I can just catch the ball easily, just turn around and get an easy layup or dunk every time. And I think he's starting to understand that more. And you can see quite clearly it's looking like that. In this series, Chet Holmgren has to show up. Chet literally is the only guy that has a chance to be up there with him and kind of stop what he's doing. And it just seems like from an outside looking in, Chet looks like he's kind of scared of what Wemby is doing and doesn't want to really confront him like that. And I think Chet has to do a better job of guarding him. And I think Chet has to take on that challenge of guarding him. And I understand what Mark Daigneault was doing by kind of like sending doubles at him, trying to be physical with Wemby. And in the past, I think that's worked most times. But now you can see that's clearly not working. And so you need Chet to show up. You need Chet to be like, hey, I'm going to take the challenge of guarding him. And he also has to remain out of foul trouble because I think that's the same thing the coach was trying to do, trying to have him on help side defense and him be available throughout the game so he doesn't get into foul trouble with Wemby. Because as soon as Wemby sees him, I think Wemby is going to continuously attack him. I know Wemby has a genuine dislike for him because they had competition in the past. Chet beat him a couple times, and I think Wemby has taken all that personally, even though it's obviously not personal. But Wemby is going to continue to attack at Chet, and so Chet has to maintain great defense and also make sure he's not getting in foul trouble. But at the same time, that doesn't mean you shouldn't guard him. You should only play help side on him. You have to play majority of the defense on Wemby, and he has to take on that challenge. And I believe that's the only way this Oklahoma City team can win. And Obviously, Shea needs to play better. Jalen Williams came back. He had a pretty good game, 11 for 25, not the most efficient, but I think he had a great game. And Isaiah Hartenstein, he has to give you more than 2 points. I'm sorry. 2 points and 2 rebounds. That's not going to cut it. I mean, the fact that Chet and Isaiah Hartenstein had 10 rebounds between the two of them, that's not going to cut it either. Dort cannot guard Wemby. The plan of sending a bunch of bodies at Wemby that are like 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", i.e. Jalen Williams, Alex Russo, Dort, that's not going to work. Again, you need Chet to guard him most of the time, be the primary defender, and you have to have Jalen Williams and AJ Mitchell, Shea Gilgeous. You have to have all these guys just show up offensively and be able to score. But y'all let me know y'all thoughts. I think this was a great game. I still think Oklahoma City Thunder, they have to win game 2. They have to win game 2. If they don't win game 2, I'm gonna find it really hard for someone to say OKC can still win this series, because I don't see the San Antonio Spurs losing 4 straight after going up 2-0. So y'all let me know y'all thoughts. This is going to be, I believe, one of the all-time great series, or it can flip on its head and we can overreact and the Spurs can get Oklahoma City Thunder out of here. And if you haven't subscribed, actually, go ahead, subscribe, like the video, share the video with a friend. And until next time, guys, I'll see y'all later. Milos out. Peace.